Good morning, beautiful people. How is everyone today? Did we all have a lovely sleep last night? Well, I certainly hope that that is the case because I have woken up on the right side of the bed today after having had a fairly good sleep. It was a bit broken in between there, a little bit up in there. Oh, I don't like this camera. Look, it shows all my flaws. Don't look at all my flaws now. Anyway, I've come outside because I want to have a cigarette. It's going to be one of my last cigarettes as I am buying patches today. And while we're just hanging together, I was disturbed last night, just on the topic of sleep. I was deeply disturbed last night because I'm a psychic who gets access to situations involving people that people would rather hide or not let people know about their doings, what they get up to. So what I've decided to do is, when I get my inheritance back, in addition to bringing about Māori government, I'm going to make a documentary on all the reasons why children run away from home, and in particular the cyfs system. Yes, there is abuse going on outside of the system, but I really, and that is equally my focus, but I really want to focus on the children in the cyfs system because there's quite a lot of children that are missing from the cyfs system. And the cyfs system, for those of you who don't know, is basically New Zealand government's arm that snatches children from their homes and forces them into other situations of violence. I believe there are some happy cyfs stories out there to tell, which I'm very, very, very deeply grateful for. But there are also some horror stories that children in the cyfs system have to tell. Now, I really want to focus on the type of abuse that causes children to run away from the cyfs system, and I'll just give you a little bit of a heads up, which is one of the reasons why I smoke, because I see these things while sleeping, sometimes during the day, and that's part and parcel of being a psychic. So I'll be going along doing my vacuuming, and all of a sudden I'll see a vision which will stop me in my tracks. And the kind of visions I see are an egg flip. I don't know if you'd call it an egg spatula, but it's an egg flip. And I saw one of those, a little Māori girl, being forced to open her mouth wide, and she got one of those the quite wide egg flip things that you flip eggs with. She got it forced down her throat right until the handle was sticking just out the top of her throat inside her mouth. Now, back in 2010, between 2008 and 2010, I became involved with some of the children who ran away from the New Zealand government's cyfs system here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Now, sorry, here in the Hibiscus Coast, which is the furthest north Auckland you can go. And these children had run away for some really, really serious reasons. They'd run away from the cyfs system. So I got to hear some of their stories as to why they run away. One little girl, she didn't tell me this, but one of the little girls was, so you've heard about the egg flip story. That was one of the reasons why one of the young girls that I became involved with in terms of trying to protect and hide from the cyfs system, that's what happened to her. To another little girl, she made the mistake of defending herself verbally by answering back to one of the male cyfs caregivers that had charge of her. She was another Māori girl. She defended herself, not in a aggressive way, but just in a way like, you don't have a right to talk to me like that. That's child abuse or something like that. You know what this fully grown man did? And you know what this grown man did? He put his hand right back here like this, and with all his might he went boom on her face, slapped her head, nearly twisted her neck off. So that's why she ran away from this white family. They were European. And the thing is, as I'm going through my visions, I'm becoming privy to faces. So I'll be able to, if New Zealand government allows me to, at some point when MOA is a roaring success, at some point I want to go through the files and see if I can match up faces to these people that I've seen in the visions who have been abusing these young children. There was another situation that I saw psychically. I'm not sure if this relates, I am sure this relates to many children in the cyf system. See, a lot of the children, when they get taken from the cyf from their families, they're forced into a stranger's home. They're forced to eat food that they don't normally eat, and so the children naturally are inclined to not want to eat the food that they've been given because they're not used to the tastes and the flavours, and a lot of them are forced to eat vegetables because it's good for you. So when they don't eat their vegetables, they are sent to bed hungry. Or when they don't eat their dinner, they are sent to bed hungry in a very aggressive way. They're yelled at, they are emotionally, mentally and physically abused for not eating the food that's put in front of them. And then they're sent to their bed hungry, and sometimes they can be even called out of their room and spanked. Yes, Child, Youth and Family have a history of hitting children. Even the social workers. Isn't that right, Sarah Parker, who punched my little girl, who slapped my little girl after my little girl punched her? Now this is, when I say my little girl, I'm referring to one of my heart adopted girls. So there's another, so look, I can go on and I will say one more example, but this forms the motivation for why I'm bringing about MOA. It's about the missing children from the cyf system. It's about the children that get stolen from their families and put into a very treacherous environment of violence, emotional abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, even spiritual abuse. Some of these children may be raised with certain religious beliefs that are just absolutely disrespected in these stranger families. And you know, we talk about stranger danger, and yet the New Zealand government forces children right into that stranger danger. So god damn, I need another cigarette. This is why I picked up smoking again, because this stuff stresses me out. But I'm going on patches today, so wish me luck, guys. So there's just one more I'm going to have another cigarette because I'm so stressed. So there is just another example that I want to give. And this one relates to my precious little girl, Shalise, who was stolen at 2 years old. She had a baby at just over 2 years old. And I know a lot of you will find that really, really difficult to believe, but she is the youngest girl on this planet to have given birth at 2 years old. She gave birth to a live baby girl at 2 years old. Now, to understand the phenomena behind that, you need to understand that I myself have unusual DNA. I've showed you all evidence of that, how the pupils of my eyes turn into like three-pronged propellers sometimes, and sometimes my eyes go from brown to green, particularly when the pupils change shape. So I'm a bit of a weirdo myself, right? But I want to tell you guys a story that woke me up a couple of nights and made me want to have a drink. But I've figured out how I'm going to solve that situation now. So I was sleeping 2 nights ago, and 1 second, please. I was sleeping 2 nights ago. Sorry, just before I continue with that story, I just want to say that the ultrasound specialist who scanned my daughter at, I think it was 16 weeks. Was it 16 weeks? Somewhere around there. She said that the internal organs of my unborn fetus were more advanced than other unborn fetuses her age. So that's why she gave birth at 2.5 years, just under 2.5 years old. And there's a whole big story behind that. But so that's another reason motivating me for MOA, because even the mental health people aren't believing that is the truth, and yet it is the truth, and I wouldn't risk sounding like a crazy person if it wasn't the truth. I've got much better things to do with my time. Anyway, so after my little girl got stolen, and I mean stolen off the books illegally, she got swapped with another little girl of similar complex size and shape. So I went home with the wrong child. I knew that she was the wrong child, but nevertheless, there was nothing I could do about it because I was suffering post-traumatic amnesia at the time, and I forgot about the switch, you see. So then I began believing that the child that she was swapped with was my own daughter, who I came to love very, very deeply, like my own child, by the way. But anyway, getting back to that last story I'd like to share about why children run away from the cyfs system. My little girl is spiritually gifted like myself, and she is not only telepathic and can do time travel through psychic ability and stuff like that. She's also a very strong psychic. And many Māori children are. I'm sure there are European children who are capable of this as well, but many Māori children are. That is my experience. So after she was stolen and swapped with another little girl, she was taken to a house where she had not only had to give birth with the people who abducted her, they stole her baby. They're now raising my granddaughter in their own family. Like, I'm sure they've put a birth certificate under their names. So not only did she have to give birth, she also had to sleep in a dark room without the light on. Now, my little girl Shalise, who's a twin, by the way, and that's another story. My little girl Shalise was so distraught at night times because they would make her sleep in a strange room without the light on. Now, she sees ghosts. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people do. A lot of children do, especially children. She sees ghosts. Now, she had to sleep, and I swear to God, she was literally, physically shaking all over in her bed, in the dark, while fearing that ghosts were going to pull at the covers of her bed, touch her, talk to her. And you know, if you can imagine how you'd feel as a child if you had this gift, it is absolutely debilitating. It is absolutely debilitating. So yeah, so my heart really went out to her that night, and I wanted to make a video about it as soon as I saw it, but I wanted to also figure out a solution for it. So I'm one of these weird people that can actually pass messages through time. I'm telepathic. I can speak to people through the passage of time, and my up and coming live telepathic demonstration is coming soon. I don't know if I want to make it for a court case because it needs to be proven legitimately in court. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be best if I involve the judge of our case in this telepathic demonstration so that he knows that it's legitimate and it's not being made up. So my solution to Shalise's problem of shivering in the night, you guys have no idea how that feels. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the absolute fear you'd feel? The absolute fear you'd feel. She's only 2 years old. She's shaking in her boots. She's losing weight from the stress of her situation, let alone seeing the ghosts at night time. Which ghosts are people who have died who are still walking this earth. That's what I mean by when I say ghosts. So I'm going to telepathically connect with her at some point during the day. I figured that if I telepathically connected with her at night time, she might freak out and think I'm a ghost. So I'm going to telepathically connect with her during the day, and I'm going to ask her if they go into a toy store, if the caregivers, so-called caregivers, will allow her to buy a night light so that she can have a night light at night times. And so I'm going to do, this is another telepathic demonstration that I'm going to pull off as well at some point in the future. The beautiful thing is, even though I'm procrastinating at this end of the spectrum, I can still connect with her time in real time, if you understand what I'm saying. So this is yet another reason why I'm pushing for MOA, because a lot of people who are born with these gifts are marginalised. A lot of Māori people who have been born with these gifts have been put into the mental health system and abused and drugged and called crazy because they hear voices, and they're just spiritually gifted, you know. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that if we end up having our own mental health act under Māori government, that these people are duly acknowledged, and we are going to help people. We're not going to punish them with electrocuting them with that electrotherapy or whatever it's called. We're going to actually help them to overcome and to learn how to manage their spiritual abilities. New Zealand government is an absolute Nazi government by persecuting people like myself who have these amazing abilities, you know. It's just wrong on every level. So my fight is for all these children who are gifted this way, including European children who are gifted this way and end up being overdosed and drugged because the New Zealand Mental Health Act won't acknowledge that they have these abilities, that these abilities are real. And that, my dear friends, is why we need Māori government. That's why we need Māori government. So, okay, thank you so very much for watching. Can you see why I'm so stressed out, why I smoke? But I'm doing the patches today, and hopefully I'll be able to just teach myself how to manage that stress when I telepathically connect, not just with my daughter, but with other children as well, particularly the children that I became involved with who ran away from the cyfs system. So thanks very much for watching. You guys are an amazing audience. I really, really appreciate any level of sympathy. If you can in your own way somehow creates more exposure of these children who are forced to run away from the cyfs system. There's another situation. I worked for an employer, his name was Bob Pell. He said his mother was a CYF approved caregiver. He said, Bob Pell, who is now dead, he told me that his mother used to slam children on the floor when they didn't eat their dinner. His mother used to slam children onto the floor and force the food down the children's throat, either with her hand or with a wooden spoon or something. I don't know exactly how, but I can imagine that's how she would have done it. I'm hoping to connect with Bob again because Bob is responsible for helping to murder one of my hard-adopted girls. So I'm hoping to connect with him in a spiritual sense so that he can give me more information that I can write in an affidavit to court. For those of you who want some more intel on my life story, My 2 affidavits are online at www.globalmaori.info. One of the things I'm trying to bring out with Māori government is to bring out everything that's hiding behind closed doors in this country, including those racists in our country who are butchering and skinning children and burning them and torturing them alive while they're alive, torturing them to death in New Zealand. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going on. I'm bringing the bottom to the top. I'm bringing the evil from behind closed doors out into the open so that we can all start dealing with this and we can start targeting these people as a collective. I can't do it all on my own. I need people to help me. So if you've got a set and you want to help me deal with all that evil and bring it out into the open doors, by all means, please get in touch with me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day. And as I always say, stay true, stay strong, stay forever. Bye for now.